Our next one is in the book of Romans, chapter 11. We're going to start reading in verse 19 and go down to verse 22. And it says this, "Then you will say, branches were broken off so that I might be grafted in. That is true. They were broken off because of their unbelief, but you stand fast through faith. So do not become proud, but stand in awe. For if God did not spare the natural branches, neither will he spare you. Note then the kindness and the severity of God. Severity toward those who have fallen, but God's kindness to you, provided you continue in his kindness." So that's a difficult passage because we think, well, if I'm not minding my P's and Q's and doing everything right, then God's going to cut me off. It's just going to cut me right off, and I'm no longer going to be a part of this great plan of God. I'm going to lose my salvation. Well, this passage doesn't talk about individuals losing salvation or gaining salvation. So this is one of those passages where it really is important to ask those who, what, when, why, and where questions. So you want to ask the who question first. Who is writing this? Well, Paul is writing this. Well, who is he writing it to? And so in verse 13, he's very clear. Now I am speaking to you Gentiles. So he's speaking to a group of people, not individuals. So this whole section of Scripture, as a matter of fact, Romans 9, 10, 11, and even into 12, where he talks about the body, he is talking to Jews and Gentiles. So he's talking about how this plan of salvation unfolded through the Jew, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah, all the way down to Jesus. He's the seed, the promised son who would come and bring salvation to the world. Jesus did that through his death, burial, and resurrection. That salvation is available to anyone who will call upon the name of the Lord, whether Jew or Gentile. So this is universal in scope, in appeal, in application. He's sending that gospel message out to the world. Well, it unfolded first through the Jew. And so this gospel message went first to the Jew. Well, they rejected their Messiah because they did not believe he was the one that God had sent. They were looking for a warrior Messiah, someone that could defeat Rome and to raise them up as the preeminent nation in the world through which blessings could flow to other nations. So they really missed the enemy. The enemy has always been sin and death.
Yes.
Jesus Christ came to conquer sin and death. But since they didn't recognize that, they rejected Jesus. And so this gospel message went out to the Gentile world. So they were grafted in to that tree. And others were lopped off because of their unbelief. Who are those others? The Jews. They were hardened temporarily, but there's going to be a time when this gospel message goes back to them. They're going to be regrafted. So he's saying to Gentiles, don't be proud about your current position. You've been grafted in because of grace, and there's a remnant of Jews that are still there by grace.
Yes.
You're all there by grace, so don't get cocky. Don't get arrogant. Don't get boastful. He could cut off this proclamation to the Gentile world at any given moment and take it back to the Jews. So don't think you're something special, except for the fact that God's grace has saved you. Rejoice in that. Boast in the grace of God. Be humble. That's what this is all about.
Yes.
Accepting the plan of God in Jesus.